When Katt Williams speaks, Hollywood shakes. Because he doesn't whisper secrets, he detonates them. And this time, his target isn't just a celebrity. It's a system. A system that's been silently destroying black talent for years, one career at a time. Recently, Katt dropped a bomb that left the entire industry stunned. He claimed that Tyler Perry, one of the most powerful men in Hollywood, had a direct hand in ending Larenz Tate's career. Yeah, Larenz Tate, the man who gave us Menace to Society, Love Jones, and Crash, a legend with range, respect, and raw talent, suddenly pushed out of the spotlight for reasons nobody could explain. Until now, according to Katt, it wasn't bad luck, it was by design. He says when Tate refused to play Hollywood's game, certain powerful figures, including Perry, made sure his opportunities dried up overnight. But why? What really happened between Tyler Perry and Larenz Tate? Was it ego, control, or something far darker hidden behind the studio's closed doors? Tonight, we're uncovering the story they tried to bury, the power moves, the manipulation, and the shocking truth about how Hollywood protects its own by silencing the rest. Because when Katt Williams talks, the masks come off. Before Hollywood politics, before the backroom deals and silent betrayals, there was Larenz Tate, a name that carried weight, talent, and respect. He wasn't just an actor, he was the actor. The kid from Chicago who turned raw emotion into art. When he hit the screen in Menace to Society 1993, people didn't just watch, they felt him. He became the face of a new generation of black excellence in film. From Love Jones to Dead Presidents, Tate proved he wasn't a one-hit wonder. He had presence, depth, and a kind of honesty that couldn't be faked. Hollywood noticed, but so did the gatekeepers. Because here's the thing about power in Hollywood, it never likes someone it can't control. And according to Katt Williams, that's exactly when the machine began to turn. In one of his explosive interviews, Katt claimed Larenz Tate's decline wasn't an accident. He said Tate was too real, too grounded to play by Hollywood's obedience rules. When others conformed, Tate stayed quiet, focused on his craft, and refused to sell out for roles that didn't align with his integrity. And in Hollywood, integrity is dangerous. For a while, things were fine. Larenz had major roles lined up. He was respected by both fans and fellow actors. But then something shifted. Projects started falling through. Offers slowed down. And suddenly, one of the most promising actors of his generation was gone from the spotlight. That's when whispers began. Insiders started suggesting that Tyler Perry, the powerhouse filmmaker who had built his own empire out of independent hustle, might have played a role in Tate's sudden silence. At first, it didn't make sense. Tyler Perry and Larenz Tate moved in different circles. Perry was focused on his media franchise and his billion-dollar studio in Atlanta, while Tate was more into critically acclaimed, character-driven films. But Hollywood is smaller than it looks, and influence spreads fast. According to Katt Williams, when Larenz refused to take part in certain Hollywood deals, people in positions of power quietly closed doors on him. He didn't follow their rules. He didn't attend their exclusive events, and he didn't compromise his image for roles that clashed with who he was. That kind of independence doesn't go unnoticed or unpunished. Katt claimed that Tyler Perry's empire, though built on black storytelling, was deeply intertwined with Hollywood's hidden networks, the kind that reward submission and punish defiance. And Larenz Tate? He wasn't one to kneel. It's said that around the mid-2000s, Tate was offered a major role under Perry's direction, a role that could have boosted his career again. But when he reportedly declined due to creative differences, that's when things turned cold. The calls stopped, the offers vanished, and the Hollywood system did what it does best: erased him without a trace. For fans, it was confusing. One day, Tate was everywhere: red carpets, interviews, film festivals. The next, he was gone, showing up only in small TV appearances or side roles that didn't match his talent. But behind the scenes, people like Katt Williams were watching closely. In Katt's own words, Larenz didn't do nothing wrong. He just didn't play their game. And when you don't play it, they blacklist you. Quiet, clean, and permanent. That one quote broke the internet. It confirmed what fans had suspected for years, that Larenz Tate wasn't forgotten. He was buried alive by an industry that rewards loyalty to power, not authenticity. Still, some people question why Katt would mention Tyler Perry's name. After all, Perry had built an empire representing black success studios, ownership, and independence. Why would he be involved in destroying another black actor's career? That's where things get darker. According to Katt, Perry wasn't always the independent outsider people thought he was. He had connections, deep ones, with the same industry figures he once claimed to fight against. And when it came to influence, Perry had become one of Hollywood's most powerful insiders. He could make careers and he could end them. Katt implied that Larenz Tate had refused to take a particular direction. Perry and others wanted something related to a film deal and image alignment. When Tate pushed back, the industry pushed harder. Suddenly, his name stopped appearing on casting lists. Directors who once praised him stopped returning calls, and producers quietly replaced him with safer actors, ones who didn't question authority. The pattern was clear and terrifyingly familiar, because Hollywood has a long history of using silence as a weapon. You won't hear them say, "You're blacklisted." You'll just notice the calls stop coming. And that's exactly what Katt Williams wanted the world to understand, that power in Hollywood isn't always loud. Sometimes it's hidden in the smiles, the contracts, the private meetings that decide who shines and who disappears. For Larenz Tate, it was never about failure. It was about refusal. He refused to bend his identity to fit the mold, and the mold punished him. By the late 2010s, while other actors reinvented themselves, Tate was still quietly working smaller projects, independent films, the occasional TV spot. His talent never faded, but the machine that once celebrated him had moved on. And Tyler Perry? He became the face of Hollywood's black success story. The billionaire mogul, the studio owner, the man who could give or take careers. To most people, it looked like two men with different journeys. But to those paying attention like Katt Williams, it was a symbol of something much deeper. How the same system that empowers can also destroy, depending on who's in control. Katt's final words on the topic were chilling. Larenz was too powerful for them. Not because of money, but because of truth. And truth don't sell in fake places. Hollywood isn't what it seems. Lights, cameras, and premieres may dazzle the world, but behind the velvet ropes, power rules everything. And for Larenz Tate, that reality hit harder than any box office flop could ever do. Katt Williams, never one to hold back, revealed the truth. Larenz didn't fail because of talent. He failed because he didn't conform. According to Katt, Tyler Perry wasn't just a filmmaker, he had become a gatekeeper. He controlled opportunities, approvals, and influence over which black actors thrived and which disappeared. And when Tate refused to take part in certain projects or play by the rules, the doors quietly closed. The first signs appeared subtly. Roles Tate expected to audition for suddenly fell through. Directors who had worked with him in the past claimed budget constraints or creative changes. Nothing was overt, but the pattern was unmistakable. And insiders began whispering Tyler Perry's team had influence over these projects, quietly steering them away from Tate. Why? Some say it was ego, others say it was control. Katt hinted that Tate's refusal to submit to industry expectations threatened not only Perry's authority but the broader network of executives who thrived on obedience. One source claimed that Perry had positioned himself as a mentor figure in Hollywood. Those who accepted guidance thrived. Those who questioned the system like Tate were sidelined. This wasn't personal. It was strategic. But things escalated when Tate rejected a major lead role in a high-profile Perry production. The part would have been a guaranteed comeback, but the script and creative direction clashed with Tate's vision. Choosing integrity over exposure, he walked away. That's when Katt says the retaliation began. Calls stopped. Opportunities vanished. Even agents and managers reportedly started distancing themselves, fearing association with Tate could hurt their own careers. It was a subtle, invisible attack, the classic Hollywood erasure. And it worked. Katt emphasized that the industry thrives on silence. You don't have to fire someone publicly, you just remove the lights, the cameras, the support. And suddenly, you're invisible. But Katt didn't stop there. He claimed that Tyler Perry wasn't acting alone. He worked with a network of producers, casting directors, and studio executives who shared an unspoken understanding, keep control, maintain order, and protect their own. In this system, Tate's independence made him a threat. He was talented, respected, and unwilling to compromise, and that made him untouchable in spirit, but not in opportunity. Katt also spoke about the personal side of the fallout. Tate wasn't just losing roles, he was losing momentum, visibility, and connections. In Hollywood, perception is everything. If you aren't seen, you can't thrive. And Perry's influence, intentionally or not, had made Tate invisible. Yet Katt didn't paint Tate as a victim. He highlighted Tate's resilience, noting that the actor continued to work in film and television, stayed true to his craft, and refused to compromise his identity. That, Katt said, is what made him truly legendary, surviving an industry designed to break stars like him. Katt also addressed the elephant in the room. Why reveal this now? Because silence only protects the powerful. And as long as actors like Tate remain erased, Hollywood continues to perpetuate a system where talent is less important than obedience. The story gets darker, according to Katt. Some of Tate's potential projects were allegedly reassigned to less experienced actors more willing to follow instructions and maintain the industry's preferred narrative. Tate was sidelined not for lack of skill, but for a refusal to be molded. And those decisions were quietly reinforced by Perry's influence behind the scenes. Katt's revelations weren't just shocking, they were a warning. Hollywood isn't a meritocracy. It's a network of power, favors, and unspoken contracts. And for those who refuse to bend, the consequences can be devastating. Finally, Katt noted something even more chilling. While Tyler Perry's empire may have uplifted some, it also served as a gatekeeping mechanism, protecting certain stars while quietly eliminating others. And Larenz Tate's career, once poised for a legendary trajectory, became a cautionary tale. By the time Katt Williams went public, the story had been quietly simmering for years. Larenz Tate wasn't just missing from Hollywood's spotlight, he was a ghost in the system that once celebrated him. And Katt, never one to stay silent, chose to break that silence. Hollywood is built on power and perception. You don't need to fire someone publicly, you just remove them from visibility, cut access to opportunities, and let the system do the rest. That, Katt revealed, is exactly what happened to Tate. According to Katt, Tyler Perry's influence extended far beyond his own productions. He had the ear of executives, producers, and casting directors across the industry. One phone call, one recommendation, and suddenly, projects Tate could have led were given to others. It was subtle, calculated, and completely effective. The tipping point, Katt claims, was Tate's refusal to take a major role in a Perry production. It wasn't arrogance. It was integrity. Tate knew the project didn't align with his vision. He knew it could compromise his brand. But in Hollywood, integrity has a cost, and for Tate, that cost was invisibility. Katt revealed that what followed wasn't a single act but a pattern. Roles that once would have been Tate's were quietly reassigned. Directors who loved his work suddenly claimed scheduling conflicts. Agents who had once championed him went silent. And the system, Katt said, thrived on compliance. Actors who submitted and followed instructions prospered. Those who questioned, resisted, or sought authenticity like Tate were quietly erased. Katt also shed light on Perry's dual role in all this. On the surface, Perry uplifted black talent, created opportunities, and built an empire celebrating black stories. But behind the scenes, Katt argued that empire was also a mechanism of control, a way to decide who succeeded, who stayed visible, and who faded. This wasn't about money alone. It was about influence, power, and narrative control. Katt's expose revealed the human side of this system. Tate, once a bright star, was forced to navigate a Hollywood that admired his talent but punished his independence. The emotional toll, Katt said, was immense. The frustration of seeing projects vanish, the isolation of being quietly sidelined, and the feeling that the very system celebrating your community could also erase you. But Katt emphasized something crucial. Tate never gave up. He continued to work, to hone his craft, to deliver performances that reminded audiences why he had once been at the top. He didn't bow. He didn't compromise. And that, Katt said, is why Tate's story matters. It's a cautionary tale for Hollywood and beyond. For every actor silenced quietly, for every talent erased for refusing to conform, there is a story sometimes told by those brave enough to speak. Katt's revelations sparked a firestorm. Social media exploded with debates. Articles dissected every claim, and fans finally understood the shadow battles Tate had fought. Some defended Perry, arguing that it was business, not betrayal. But for others, it confirmed what insiders had long whispered: Hollywood isn't fair, and power is often invisible. By speaking out, Katt didn't just defend Tate, he exposed the system itself. He highlighted the consequences of obedience, the price of nonconformity, and the quiet ways careers can be built and destroyed. The aftermath was complicated. Tate slowly regained momentum in independent films and select roles, carving a path that reflected his true artistry. Meanwhile, Hollywood's conversations shifted. People began questioning the structures of influence and the gatekeeping that shapes careers. Katt Williams, in the final words of his revelation, summed it up: Larenz didn't fail because he wasn't good enough. He failed because he didn't play their game. And in Hollywood, refusing to play the game is the ultimate rebellion. The story didn't just end with Tate. It became a lesson for actors, fans, and the industry at large. Integrity has a price, but it also commands respect. Influence can be wielded as a weapon, but truth once spoken can be silenced. And Larenz Tate, he remains a testament to talent, resilience, and authenticity. Even in a system designed to erase him, his craft endures. His story, revealed by Katt Williams, stands as a warning, a lesson, and a celebration of a man who refused to bend, because in the world of Hollywood, power is loud. But courage, the kind Tate showed, is louder. And that's the truth Hollywood didn't want you to hear. So, what do you think, fam? Did Tyler Perry really have a hand in silencing Larenz Tate, or is this just Hollywood rumors blown out of proportion? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because the truth is more shocking than anyone could imagine. If you're here for the real stories behind Hollywood's glitz and glam, smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because the next expose is coming. And trust me, you don't want to miss it. Hollywood has its secrets, and we're here to uncover them. Stay tuned, stay informed, and remember, talent can be silenced, but the truth always comes out.